All right, I need you to stop whatever you're doing right now and just listen to this for a second. Because what Denny Hamlin is doing right now in the 2026 NASCAR Cup Series season is not just impressive, it's not just good racing. It's one of the most emotionally powerful things I've ever seen in this sport. And I've been watching NASCAR for a very long time. Because this man lost his father in the most devastating way possible during the off-season, a house fire. Think about that for a second. You go from competing for a championship, dedicating your 60th career win to your dad right here at Las Vegas, and then months later, everything changes. Your father is gone, not to illness, not to old age, to a sudden, tragic, unthinkable house fire. And for weeks after that, Denny Hamlin didn't even want to get in a race car. He said it himself. He couldn't find the motivation. He couldn't find the reason. The thing that had driven him his entire life, racing, suddenly didn't feel the same. And honestly, nobody would have blamed him if he took more time. Nobody would have questioned it if he said, I need to step back for a while. But that's not what Denny Hamlin did. Instead, this man showed up. He strapped into that number 11 FedEx Toyota, and he went out and did something that gave every single NASCAR fan chills. He won. Not just any race. He won at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the exact same track where he got his 60th career victory last fall, the exact same track where he dedicated that win to his father. And now, just months after losing him, he comes back to that same place and wins again. His 61st career victory, the first win of the 2026 season. And if that doesn't hit you right in the chest, I don't know what will. But here's the thing that makes this story even bigger. This isn't just an emotional moment. This is a championship statement. Because right now, Denny Hamlin isn't just winning races. He's climbing the standings. He's locked into the playoffs. And his entire 23XI racing organization is absolutely dominating the NASCAR Cup Series in a way that nobody predicted. And when you look at everything together, what Hamlin is doing personally, what 23XI Racing is doing as a team, and where the championship picture stands right now, you start to realize that this might be the most compelling storyline in all of NASCAR this season. So before we break all of this down, if you're a real NASCAR fan and stories like this are why you love this sport, do me a quick favor. Smash that like button and subscribe to Daily NASCAR. This channel is brand new and we're pushing toward our first 1,000 subscribers. If you want real, honest, passionate NASCAR talk every single week, you're exactly where you need to be. All right, so let's go back to the beginning, because to truly understand how incredible this Las Vegas win is, you need to understand what Denny Hamlin went through before he even got to the racetrack. Last fall, everything seemed perfect. Hamlin was competing for the championship. He came to Las Vegas and absolutely dominated. He led a ton of laps, controlled the race, and took the checkered flag for his 60th career Cup Series victory. And in that moment, in victory lane, he dedicated the win to his father. It was one of those classic NASCAR moments. A driver at the peak of his career, sharing the spotlight with the person who helped him get there. His dad. The man who believed in him. The man who supported him through every single lap of his career. Then the championship battle played out. Hamlin fought hard, but ultimately lost the title in heartbreaking fashion. That alone would be tough enough to deal with during the off-season. Losing a championship when you're that close hurts. It stays with you. But then came the news that shattered everything. During the off-season, Denny Hamlin's father passed away in a house fire, and just like that, nothing else mattered. Not the championship, not the racing, not the stats, nothing. Hamlin opened up about this on his Actions Detrimental podcast and in interviews, and what he said was raw and real. He talked about how for weeks he just couldn't find it. The drive, the passion, the reason to get back in the car. He said it took him a significant amount of time before he even felt like racing again. And when a guy who has been racing his entire life, a guy with over 60 Cup wins, a guy who lives and breathes this sport, tells you he lost his motivation, you know the pain was deep. But then something shifted. Hamlin talked about how eventually he realized that racing was actually helping him. That getting behind the wheel, focusing on something, competing at the highest level. It was giving him a purpose again. It was giving him something to channel all of that emotion into. And once he made that decision to fully commit to the 2026 season, everything started to change, not just emotionally, but on the racetrack too. Now let's talk about what happened at Las Vegas, because the race itself was absolutely wild. And the way Hamlin won it tells you everything about who this man is as a competitor. The race started and Hamlin was strong right from the drop of the green flag. He took the lead early from Christopher Bell and immediately showed that the number 11 car had serious speed. Stage 1 was dominated by Joe Gibbs racing with Bell, eventually winning that stage after slicing through traffic and even lapping cars up to 21st place. But Hamlin was right there, lurking, waiting, building his race the way veterans do. Then stage 2 happened and everything got flipped upside down. This is where the drama really kicked in. Hendrick Motorsports started stepping up. Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, and William Byron were all showing speed. It went 3 wide at one point, which is the kind of racing that makes your heart stop. Byron ended up winning stage 2. But here's where things went wrong for Hamlin. During stage 2, he got caught speeding on pit road, and not just him. Ty Gibbs got caught speeding too. Both of them were sent to the back of the field. Now, in today's NASCAR, a speeding penalty like that can absolutely destroy your race. You lose all your track position. You're buried in traffic. And at a track like Las Vegas, where clean air and track position matter so much, most drivers would just accept that the day is probably ruined. But not Denny Hamlin. On his Actions Detrimental podcast after the race, Hamlin revealed just how shocked he was by that penalty. He said he was stunned because from his perspective he had run the pit road lights exactly the way the team instructed him to. He believed he was doing everything right, but then the penalty came and he couldn't believe it. What's really interesting is that Hamlin didn't just blame NASCAR and move on. He actually analyzed what went wrong and admitted the team likely miscalculated something. He said if he ran his lights the way he was told, then the team must have misjudged the distance between the timing lines or how NASCAR was scoring that particular zone. He even pointed out that multiple other cars got caught speeding in that same spot, which made him think it was a hotter section than anybody expected. And honestly, that's such a classic NASCAR detail. These races come down to tiny measurements, tiny timing windows, tiny guesses about where the edge really is. And when you miss it by just enough, your whole race can flip upside down. That's exactly what happened. But here's where the story gets really good, because instead of folding, instead of accepting defeat, Hamlin did what champions do. He reset, he refocused, and he started carving through the field like a man on a mission. Hamlin said that about 15 laps after the penalty, he had already gained around 10 positions, and that gave him the confidence that there was still plenty of time left in the race. That right there is the mentality of a veteran who has been in these situations 1,000 times. He didn't panic. He saw the recovery happening in real time, settled in, and kept working. Then came the final stage, and this is where Hamlin absolutely flipped the switch. He started moving through the field with the kind of precision and aggression that only comes from decades of experience. He took the lead. He briefly lost it to Byron in traffic, and then the only natural caution of the race came out after Connor Zilisch spun, trying to avoid Ricky Stenhouse Jr. That caution shook everything up. Pit strategy changed. Track position shuffled. Christopher Bell won the race off pit road thanks to that number 1 pit box. Chase Briscoe somehow got the free pass after spending 172 laps off the lead lap, which is absolutely insane. But on that restart, it was all Hamlin. He drove past his own teammate, took the lead, and this time he did not give it back. Chase Elliott tried, he closed in, he put the pressure on, but he just couldn't get there. At the line, it was Denny Hamlin. First, again, at Las Vegas, the same track where he dedicated his 60th win to his father, now his 61st career victory, the first win of the 2026 season. And you could see it in his face afterward. This wasn't just about the trophy. This wasn't just about the points. This was personal. This was for his dad. This was proof that even when life hits you with the worst possible blow, you can still find a way to come back. You can still find a way to compete. You can still find a way to win. Chase Elliott finished second, William Byron third, Christopher Bell fourth, Ty Gibbs fifth. Then you have Chris Buescher, Kyle Larson, Chase Briscoe, Bubba Wallace, and Brad Keselowski rounding out the top 10. But nobody was talking about second place. Everybody was talking about Hamlin, and rightfully so. Now let's zoom out because the bigger picture here is absolutely massive. That Las Vegas win didn't just give Hamlin an emotional boost. It locked him into the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs later this year, and it pushed him all the way up to fourth in the overall standings. Fourth, after everything he's been through, after a speeding penalty in the middle of the race, after losing his father, after weeks of not even wanting to race. He's fourth in the Cup standings and he's locked into the playoffs. That is remarkable. But here's where this story gets even more incredible. Look at who is ahead of him in the standings. First place, Tyler Reddick. Third place, Bubba Wallace. Both of those drivers race for 23XI Racing, Denny Hamlin's own team, the organization he co-owns with Michael Jordan. So right now, 23XI Racing has the first and third place drivers in the Cup Series standings, and the team owner himself is sitting in fourth place after his Las Vegas win. That is an absolutely dominant start to the season for an organization that people weren't sure could compete at this level just a few years ago. Tyler Reddick has been an absolute machine this season. He's leading the standings with 225 points and has a massive 127-point cushion over 17th place. His consistency has been unreal. He finished 8th at Phoenix, which snapped his 3-race winning streak, but even without winning that race, he's been so strong that nobody can touch him at the top right now. Bubba Wallace sitting in third place is another incredible storyline. Wallace has been running at a level that has surprised a lot of people this season. He's putting together the kind of results that prove he belongs at the front of the field every single week. And for a driver who has dealt with so much criticism and so many questions throughout his career, seeing him in the top 3 in the Cup standings is genuinely special. And then you have Ryan Blaney in second place after his Phoenix win. So the top 4 in the Cup Series standings right now are Reddick, Blaney, Wallace, and Hamlin. 3 of those 4 drivers are connected to 23XE Racing. That is a statement, that is dominance, and that is exactly what Michael Jordan envisioned when he helped create this team. Think about what this means for the championship picture. We're only 5 races into the season and 23XI Racing is already controlling the narrative. They have the points leader. They have another driver in the top 3. And they have a team owner driver who just proved he can win races and recover from adversity better than almost anybody in the sport. If this trajectory continues, 23XI Racing could legitimately have multiple drivers competing for the championship in the playoffs. And that would be historic. Now here's the part that makes this whole thing even more fascinating. Despite everything that's happened, despite the emotional weight he's carrying, despite losing his father, Denny Hamlin is still showing why he's one of the smartest and most experienced drivers in the entire garage. The way he managed the Las Vegas race, recovering from that speeding penalty, staying patient, picking his spots, and then striking when the moment was right, that is textbook Denny Hamlin. That is a driver who has been doing this for over 2 decades and still finds ways to elevate when it matters most. And here's something else people need to understand. Hamlin is 45 years old, in a sport that keeps getting younger, in a sport where new talent is constantly coming through. Denny Hamlin is still out here winning races. He's still out here competing with guys who are 15 and 20 years younger than him. And he's not just surviving, he's thriving, he's winning, he's leading. That says something about his talent, his preparation, his team, and honestly, his heart. Because let's be real, a lot of drivers would have crumbled under the weight of what Hamlin has gone through this off-season. Losing a championship is hard enough. Losing your father on top of that, in a house fire, most people would need months, maybe longer, to even function normally again, let alone compete at the highest level of professional motorsports. But here's Denny Hamlin, 5 races into the season, with a win already, locked into the playoffs, fourth in the standings, and looking like one of the most dangerous drivers in the entire field. And as the season heads into Darlington this weekend, Hamlin comes in with something that's incredibly hard to beat: momentum plus motivation. The momentum from that Las Vegas victory, and the motivation of racing for something bigger than himself, racing for his father's memory, racing to prove that even in the darkest moments, you can still find the light. That combination is powerful. And for the rest of the NASCAR garage, that should be a little scary. Because a Denny Hamlin who is locked in mentally, who is emotionally motivated, and who has the speed to back it up, is one of the toughest competitors you will ever face in this sport. So now I want to hear from you. Where does this Las Vegas win rank among the most emotional NASCAR victories you've ever seen? And looking at the standings right now, with 23XI Racing dominating the top positions, do you think Denny Hamlin can win the championship this season? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I know this story is hitting NASCAR fans differently. And if you enjoyed this kind of real, passionate, emotional NASCAR storytelling, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to Daily NASCAR. This channel is brand new and we're pushing toward our first 1,000 subscribers. If you're a genuine NASCAR fan who loves the sport for more than just speed, if you love the stories, the people, the emotions, and the moments that make this sport unforgettable, then you're exactly where you belong. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. And hey, wherever you are, Dennis Sr., your son just won at Vegas again. And something tells me you already know.